Hi, I'm going to talk about another example use case for our JSON parser. So we've already talked about summing up these columns and putting them in here and having a roll-up for the status. Today we're going to look at a timeline roll-up. So what we want here is to get the earliest start date at the start of the timeline and the latest date at the end of the timeline. Well, we can do that with our workflow here. If we edit this workflow, we can see when any subitem column changes, we're sending an HTTP request. And we can see again that we are using the API token stored already, and we're accessing the GraphQL URL. This time we are searching and doing a query based on the item ID and getting only subitems of type date back. Then we use the JSON parser to get an array of dates, and then you can see we're getting the minimum and the maximum, but we are outputting just the minimum value. In the next stage, we're using the JSON parser again, and we're doing exactly the same thing, except this time we're getting the maximum value. And then finally, we are changing the column value. We're taking the item, not the subitem from the first step. We're updating the column timeline, and we're getting the value for the minimum from the output from step 3. And step 4 is supplying the maximum time for the end of the timeline. So if we update this, we can then trigger the timeline. So one thing that we're going to do is get rid of this date. So the timeline will now go May the 12th to May the 25th. Workflow's running, and there we are, it's updated. Or we could add an earlier date in, the workflow runs again, and again we get the updated timeline there. So yeah, another example of using the JSON parser, but this time to roll up a timeline from a bunch of date columns.